Okay, listen up. It seems like the current situation in the world favors our plan. We have grown mighty and powerful. With Dregenios spearheading our armies, no one can rival our power. Still, I've received constant updates about 3 almost equally formidable nations as ours, fighting in the south. Our trade partners in Lusitania is fighting a colonial force called the Carthaginians. They had established outposts in Iberia and had therefore challenged the Lusitani rule over the peninsula. This also made the Romans to the east join the war effort against Carthage, forcing them to lose Sicily and Corsica. Carthage will undoubtedly crumble, but hopefully leave the other 2 nations vulnerable. The Lusitani I care little about. Their trade is the only thing keeping me away. Rome, on the other hand, will undoubtedly be our most unyielding adversary to confront. But I cannot deny this opportunity to raise their wealthy capital and steal its treasures for our own. So this is my plan. Dregenios will lead 4 armies alongside Abalus and I, down through the Alps to fight in Italy. Meanwhile, we will muster 2 new divisions in Gaul. They will go down to Lusitania, demand military access to walk through their lands and hit Rome from the south. But I don't trust the Lusitani to honor our long-lasting relationship. Hence, I'll send 2 inexperienced generals to complete this task. This way, any unexpected events won't be devastating. The Nervii tribe, the ones ruling the Alps, were our allies and therefore showed us a peaceful pass through the devious mountains. As soon as it became spring, Dregenios crossed alongside another army. Abalus and I were both further inland, but would eventually make it before winter returned. We grouped up near the major Celtic settlement called Medlan. Together, we would all travel down to Genoa and liberate it, reinstating the once free town to its former glory. I thought it best to send out a scout searching for enemy armies. Luckily, nothing seemed to appear, and with that, we raised a Latium officially announcing our arrival to the Romans. Here, it also came to my attention they had made deals with the Swaivers to our east. The Germanic tribe wasn't happy about our greedy expedition, but I promised to share some of my spoils with them, easing them a bit. Another significant event also took place. The Nervii were being attacked by the Massalians. Now, the Lusitani had betrayed the Greek colony in the past, meaning they were all alone in this world. And expecting them to win, I switched sides, forming a defensive alliance with the Massalians. As we already had crossed the mountains, the Nervii were no longer needed. While I was dealing with the complicated situation in the Alps, Rome had mustered a new army to defend their treasures. Of course, it was just a fool's attempt, as we had our entire horde ready to burn everything to the ground. I would personally initiate the attack. We began our assault on the city from the south. But the more exciting part took place in the north, where I kept my naked swordsmen to ambush the second Roman army. After some time struggling at the walls, Roman cavalry attacked us unexpectedly. They were eventually repelled, but our experienced archers got destroyed. An attempt to burn down the gates to the west was initiated as well, but they never succeeded throughout this battle. As we slowly were pushing down into the courtyard, the Romans retreated back into the streets, allowing us to enter with all of our infantry. We broke through at the central street, meaning we could get in behind enemy lines to secure a victory. With Rome at our mercy, I ordered my men to raze it to the ground. My vision was complete. We lost a lot of men through that siege, but it was all worth it. We had gold for days and, more importantly, also established a strong foothold in the region. But now we only had 3 working armies. It was still something we could work with, yet it proved we weren't invincible, something we didn't learn in time. I also returned home to Gaul in this period. With the Swabbers and Massalians moving around close to our border, I had to find a solution myself. Those I've already talked about, but that's because they're happening in the future, not now. After a lot of organizing in our armies, we were finally ready to head out again. We captured Beneventum with ease, while Ariminum was liberated. But Abalus, being Abalus, lost a close defeat to the north, only narrowly escaping himself. How that damned fool still breathes is beyond my knowledge. Thanks to him, we were down to only 2 armies and surrounded. Of course, we defeated the Romans again, but took even more casualties in the process. To make matters worse, Dregenios fell in combat during our assault on Asculum. Yet his men rallied and pushed through to secure a victory. But at what cost? The town was liberated, meaning we were only in possession of Rome and Beneventum. We would then organize ambushes to defend our holdings. Whatever their future attempts were, this was our only option. That is it of the reports from the Horde. But grave news had arrived from the ones attempting to attack from the south. As they were traversing Lusitani soil, I received a message about every agreement being broken, and our armies weren't welcome there. I knew I couldn't trust them. But by the looks of it, one of the 2 inexperienced generals also got the idea of looting the northern towns in retaliation. But on their way, tragedy fell upon them. one of the armies got hit by an ambush. The Lusitani were plotting to betray us long before our armies even arrived. Us being in their territory only made it easier for them. The second army attempted to flee into the mountains, but here there was no way back. Yet he would still hold his ground and fight. The men were using a cliffside to protect their left flank. But it apparently didn't matter, as the Lusitani would just use their balearic slingers to hit them in their side. In an attempt to save face, both generals agreed upon making a duel between both armies' greatest units. The Germanic berserkers were chosen by the Nervii, the ones I've actually grown to like over the years, and the Lusitani bear warriors were the ones they were facing. It turned out to just bring even more shame on the general, as the berserkers lost right after the battle began, where the Gauls unsuccessfully would fight for their lives. The plan to pass through Iberia failed miserably. To make matters worse, the onslaught of Roman armies kept attacking us in Latium. One ambush after the other, but to no success. We eventually retreated back to Rome. From here, we saw the fall of all the liberated ports around us. All of my proud work ruined. In the end, I decided to cut the rope and bring the men home. Visions can be hard to understand. Everything I saw came to pass. Rome was in flames and we received more gold than I could imagine. But the casualties, it wasn't worth it. I was blinded with rage and hatred. This can't happen again. I am not the king Gallia deserves, but I must become the one they need. I managed to establish a temporary peace with the Lusitani. In exchange, we would abandon all influence we had over the Arverni tribe to our southwest. On the other hand, I got 12 months of peace out of it. The time I would spend to replenish my armies and form a much better strategy to retaliate. Luckily, I had just the right idea. Next time they will face the full might of Gaul, not just 2 armies.